The genius who measured freedom. They say black people couldn't master science. They said genius had a color and it wasn't ours. But what they don't tell us is that one free black man in the 1700s mapped out the stars and built a clock from scratch. And he helped design the capital of this very nation, the one that refused to call him equal. Black history that makes you go, In this episode, we'll look back to the brilliant mind of Benjamin Banneker, an astronomer, mathematician, inventor, and author. A man who turned intellect into resilience and proved that knowledge itself can be revolutionary. They told us America's founding fathers built the country on raw genius. But behind those myths of Jefferson, Franklin, and Washington stood minds that refused to be recognized. The minds that they refused to recognize. Banneker was one of them. Here's what really happened. Let's break it down and get into it a little bit further. Born in 1731 in Maryland and formerly enslaved parents, Banneker was largely a self-taught individual. He devoured every book he could get his hands on. He studied the movement of the stars. He fell infatuated with them and built a fully functional striking clock out of wood only, using a pocket watch as his reference. At a time when most enslaved people weren't even allowed to read, his brilliance caught the attention, and soon he was invited to assist in the survey that laid out the plans for Washington, D.C. When French architect Pierre L'Enfant quit and took the original designs with him, Banneker redrew them from memory. An intellectual feat that still astounds historians today, perhaps because the work was his originally anyway. But Banneker's mind didn't just serve science, it served justice. He used his famous almanacs filled with astronomical data, essays to challenge America's hypocrisy. In 1791, he wrote directly to Thomas Jefferson, author of the Declaration of Independence, asking how a man who declared all men created equal could own human beings. Banneker's words were calm, factual, and fearless. He reminded Jefferson that we are all of the same family, formed by the same creator. Jefferson's reply was polite but empty. History would prove Banneker correct. Why does this matter today? Because Benjamin Banneker showed us that intellect is a form of rebellion. In a world built on lies about inferiority, every fact he proved was an act of freedom. He represents the countless black scientists, thinkers, and builders erased from the story of civilization. He once wrote, "I am of the opinion that every man is under the strongest obligation to do all in his power to improve and enlighten the minds of his fellow men." That's the Sankofa spirit. That's reaching back to teach forward, to move forward. So what about you? What knowledge could you share to uplift your people? What skill, what curiosity, what question might break someone else's chain? Banneker taught us that our greatest weapon isn't anger, it's understanding. And because we understand that 5 minutes a day keeps the miseducation away, I want you to remain curious, consistent, and keep learning what they tried to bury. If you enjoyed this lesson, I want you to click the link and go deeper. Learn more about our Black History flashcards and our mission here at Urban Intellectuals, and start reclaiming our story one card at a time. Till next time, good people, I'm Freddie Taylor, the CEO and founder of Urban Intellectuals. Love, peace, and power to the people.